Hello everybody, and welcome back to day number 3 of my Deadman mode flipping adventures. Now, we finished the last episode off just a couple minutes ago, and I finished it at about 3.5 mil. Now, moving forward, I am starting to try out some of the ancient warrior weapons. We've done the Morgan's Javelin, which I did at the end of the last episode. We're also working on some Abyssal Whips, although again, just not that good a margin. 15k isn't that good for an 815k investment. But anyway, I digress. Currently, we're still selling off a few flips from the last episode, so I'm going to continue on with a mix of items that have been working well, for example, the rune items, as well as trying some new things like the Morgans, and hopefully some of the other more expensive weapons. Because at this point, we are kind of running out of offer slots a bit, and it turns out it wasn't as easy to scale up to more expensive items as I thought it would be. So I just double checked, the Deadman mode tournament is going from May 1st to May 30th, so we technically have 25 more days that we could flip in Deadman mode. However, I'm kind of assuming that people may not bother swapping gold at that point. But anyway, we're just doing this for fun, so I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get started. Okay, so it's about half an hour later. We're really getting into the groove of things. Now, we stopped flipping the whip because I was only getting about a 10k margin on the whip, and I mean, like, it's 800k, and look, on this rune full helm, for example, I'm getting 6k, so I mean, like, it's not a very good return on investment. I do still want to try to buy a VLS, but I tried upping my offer to 1.1 mil, and I don't know, I don't think too many people are actually trading the Vesta's longsword in the Grand Exchange, which is fair, because you could definitely get screwed pretty easily. But right now we're doing Super Restores, Prayer Potion, Sarah Brews, which we're getting about 100 GP margin on each of them, and I'm still kind of waiting to sell off these Mithril bars, taking a long ass time. Okay, one thing I've started doing just this morning is I'm watching Deadman mode streams. Well, they're entertaining, of course, and I would watch them anyway, but mainly I'm just looking for ideas. One that I just got reminded of is the Stamina Potion, which right now is working really well. It's bought and sold very quickly, and we're getting a 300k margin on it, which is awesome. Now, I also price checked a Granite Maul, but the volume seems so low on it right now. I don't know if that's going to actually pan out. So I think I'm going to go through all of the Stamina Potions ideally, because just on these 400 here, I'm getting like 300k in profit or something like that, which is very good. Now, before I went on lunch, I decided to put in a few offers for Mystic items, and they actually worked quite well. We're getting about a 5k margin on the Mystic Robe Top and a similar margin on the Robe Bottom. We're also doing a Whip, which we're getting about a 30k margin on. That's decent enough. Okay, let's just claim everything here. So it's 80.1 into 75,330. That is pretty good, assuming that it buys and sells quick enough. And on the Robe Bottom, there's also about a 5k margin. We'll take that again, go for 10 of them. I'll recheck the margin on the hat. We're looking at about a 2.8k margin. That's also quite good. We'll do 20 of those. And I think I'm going to give the Stamina Potion a try again. It has a 125 GP margin on it. And we'll start with maybe 200 of the Stamina Potions. And it still looks like we've hit the limit on the Morgan's Javelin, so we'll have to wait a bit on that. But yeah, I guess that's just the update for now. I'm a little disappointed with that. I thought we'd have a bit more by now. We've been doing a lot of flips, but they're not as quick with the Mystic, even though the margin is a bit better. The potions really haven't worked that well. The Abyssal Whip, I mean, it's nice. We got about a 20k margin, but still, that's just not really that much. Now, unfortunately, the VLS, I think, is a lot more expensive now. Apparently, it's worth 3 or 4 mil. So unfortunately, we're not quite there yet. Okay, so it's gone for about an hour and a half. I didn't check my offers at all, but it looks like we have a few interesting things coming through. Now, hopefully Dragon Bones didn't crash on us. It's kind of been all over the place all day. Actually, that's a 90 GP margin. That's actually pretty good. We got 800 Prayer Potions, which we are going to sell for a 44k profit. I tried a new item here, the Diamond Bolt E. It was coming through very slowly, and I like the look of that so far. We bought most of them for 500 each, and we can hopefully sell them for 590. That is a pretty good margin, although we didn't get too many. We bought all of the Morgan's Javelins, although it does look like they tanked in price a bit. Crashed down to 17,400. It's a bit lame, but whatever. We'll just sell them off just to get our money back. And we have about another 100 GP margin on Stamina Potions. Unfortunately, only got 131 of them, so that's not going to be much of a profit. So yeah, we have mainly a bunch of sell offers in here. Maybe we'll just wait until they're sold off, and then we'll see how much money we're at. Okay, so right now we're getting a really nice margin on Dragon Bones of about 140, which means for every 1,000 that we do, we're getting about 140k in profit, which is a lot. I think that's probably been our best item for the last hour or two. Also, the Super Restores, there's actually a really insane margin of, well, It shows 1300, but I don't think we're gonna probably keep that margin. We'll go ahead and recheck it right now. It dropped down to 3900. Unfortunately, I'm just gonna drop them in here for 4.5k. We'll see if that works for whatever reason. Okay, so the inventory is a bit of a mess, but we'll sell these off when I get a chance. Oh, that is beautiful. A 800 GP margin on Super Restorers. Just doing these 70 right here is worth about 56k. So for every 100 I do, that is going to be 80k in profit, which is really awesome. Things really are starting to pick up, but we're getting a good margin on the Dragon Bones, these Super Restores. There we go, they all sold off. Perfect. Now right now we have a 20k margin on the Abyssal Whip, and I kind of like it. We have enough money now, we can do 2 at a time. We're selling this back for 825k. And I'd also like to highlight a very good margin on Death Runes. We sold them for 260 each and bought them for 239, which means we just made about 80k in profit on Death Runes, which is really awesome. Required a bit of patience, but it definitely paid off. Now I'm gonna try buying more at the initial price and just see if it drops back down again. And also we're trying Sharks, which I had thought would be quick, but it doesn't really seem to be that way. If a few don't come through in the next minute or two, I'm probably just gonna pull it out. Now it's getting a bit later in the day, so I'm probably gonna be heading to bed eventually here. Now, we managed to do a ton of flips on the Abyssal Whip for about a 30k margin, which was definitely worth it in my eyes. And they were going through very quickly as well, unlike other times of the day. So we probably made around 150k on the Abyssal Whip. Now for overnight flips, I haven't really pegged down exactly what is best, but we're just really going to put in anything. And again, the assumption is that things are not likely to get too much cheaper as gold is rapidly inflating in the game. So I don't really see things getting much cheaper than they already are. Okay, so we have a couple big sell offers to do overnight. We're going to leave in our 830 Dragon Bones at around 1440 and see if those will sell overnight. I think there's a good chance they will because the price has been fluctuating a ton. I'm also going to lowball an offer for an Abyssal Whip overnight and see if we can go ahead and snag one for maybe 750k, which means we could probably get a 100k margin on it if that goes through. There's also around a 1.5k margin on the Rune Scimitar, which I think is pretty good. We'll go ahead and do maybe 30 or 40 of those overnight. Alright guys, I'm headed to bed. This is what we're leaving in overnight. So I am hoping it'll make us a decent amount of money overnight so we're not just kind of leaving our money doing nothing. Now, once again, it is the following morning and we have a couple of really good things to report overnight. One really surprising flip for me was the Chaos Rune. We did an initial 10,000, which we bought for 67. It's way out of my offer slot already. But anyway, we bought them for 67 and sold them for 78, which means that is 110k in profit just on those Chaos Runes. And then we proceeded to buy another 10,000 at that exact same price, and we're selling them for a 20 GP profit, which means we would have made around 200k on that. Unfortunately, I think the Chaos Rune finally crashed, and I've waited now for about 45 minutes. It's not budging, so I'm going to go ahead and reduce that in price a bit. Oh, actually, it's going back up again. Well, you know what? I'll put it down for 82 because that seems still like a pretty decent profit to me. Look here, we have an offer now for 5 whips. We can now afford 5 whips, and it was actually a pretty good margin of about at 35k, so I think that's definitely worth doing. We also had a few Ruby Bolt E's, which we did overnight for a 70k profit. That's also long gone again. But let's just go ahead and pull everything out here and re-put it in so we can have a rough look at how much money we are at. Things really started to come together this morning and late last night. That's kind of the way it's been happening recently. Off-peak hours, you can just make so much money. Okay, so in our GE offer slot, we have about 4.8 mil, plus we have 700k in our inventory, which means we are up to about 5.5 mil. Now, I rechecked some earlier clips, and it looks like we were at around 3 mil at the start of the episode. So far we made 3.5 mil today. I'm hoping to do a few more flips as I edit this video, but still I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so while I was editing the video, I managed to do a flip on 5 Abyssal Whips. Unfortunately, the margin kept changing, and we had to do quite a few price checks. So overall, I think we only made about 75k on that, but still really, really good. So that pretty much brings us pretty much even to about 5.5 mil. We put a bunch of offers in again because I didn't really want to wait around. Once again, we're getting about 100 GP margin on Dragon Bones. So for every 1,000 that we do, we're getting 100k in profit. One item I totally forgot about was the Nature Rune. I thought it would buy and sell quicker than it is, but I mean, it had about a 15 GP margin on it, which is really good for Nature Runes. And once again, we're doing Stamina Potions. But anyway, guys, that is probably where I'm going to end it. I hit the buying limit actually on quite a few items I want to do, so I kind of need to wait a bit. So I think now might be a good time to take a break anyway. Now, one last thing I kind of wanted to have a look at is how much money relative to old school RuneScape did I have every day of this challenge so far. So on day 1, we managed to get about 1 mil. However, the exchange rate at the time where I could actually sell the 1 mil was about 1 to 12. which means essentially we had 12 mil old school RuneScape. On day 2, we got up to 3 mil. However, the exchange rate dropped to about 1 to 8 or 1 to 9, which means we had about 25 mil on day number 2. And on day number 3, we have 5.5 mil, and the exchange rate has only really dropped 1 to 7 or something like that. So I think this is pretty interesting. While we are getting some degree of exponential growth, the depreciation of the exchange rate has made it so we're getting a linear gain every day of about 12 mil. Anyway, guys, that is where I'm going to end it for today. Let me know what you think of episode number 3. I still want to continue my journey to becoming the richest person in Deadman mode. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, I would always appreciate it if you leave the video a like, and I'll see you next time.